Hello, everyone, and welcome into the hospitality room. And we are so pleased today to have Courtney Mims with us, who is the sports director at Fox 16 in Little Rock. Courtney, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. So happy to be on the show. Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. It's Dan Mullen's favorite podcast, I am told.
It
Um,
seriously is. He watches it all the time.
yes, he should. Yeah. Dan, send us another email. I missed. The last one got hit into junk. Anyway, real quick, Courtney, will you give us a quick background on how you got started in television sports?
Yeah, so a lot of people know I graduated from the University of Florida. I am a Florida girl, so don't hate me too much, okay? You guys know I'm a converted Razorback, okay? You all
Yeah.
know I'm wearing my Razorback red right now. But I started in Florida. I was a sports director over in Panama City Beach coming out of college, and so I was over there for about 3 years or so. And when I was looking for my next job, I kind of said, you know what? I really, really, really want to cover more collegiate sports. I was covering it a little bit in Panama City Beach with Florida State and Alabama. We also got to cover Florida a little bit, but I want to immerse myself into collegiate athletics. And so I was looking around for my next job, and Arkansas popped up, and I went, you know what? I like the Razorbacks. I know they care about basketball, and that's my bread and
Hmm.
butter. So I said, you know what? I'm going to Arkansas. And honestly, my first week on the job, I got to interview Nolan Richardson. So I was like,
Oh,
I made the
nice.
perfect choice. I made the
Yeah.
perfect choice. So it's been so much fun. I call myself an Arkansan now. So you guys are stuck with me. Sorry about that. But I love being here. I love this state. I love the people in it. So super thankful to be here and thankful to be in Little Rock now.
Yeah, and well, we're thankful to have you in Arkansas, and it- we'll crown you an official Arkansan and a member of the natural state. How about that?
Yay! Yay! Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. All right, well, we've got a lot to talk about, so let's get right to our topics. Breaking news. Oh, that's not the topic we want yet. This happens live TV. You got to love it. So anyway, the breaking news today is I'll try to pull the graphic up here and think maybe it finally did. There we go. Vitello going to the San Francisco Giants. Wow, who saw this coming? I know it's baseball. We'll get into football, but never before has a college head coach gone straight to the pros in baseball. Now we've seen it in other sports, but no pro experience. How shocking is this?
I mean, very shocking, right? And I don't blame him one bit, right?
Oh yeah.
If any pro team calls you and gives you this offer, why not? If I'm Vitello, I'm going, man, yeah, this is a great opportunity for him. This is a great move for him. So absolutely, I'm not shocked that this is happening. As in, I'm not shocked that he's taking it and going that route. I am shocked that the Giants decided to say, okay, let's give Tony Vitello a call. Let's give it a shot. And maybe it's what they need. I mean, honestly, maybe that is, he is a guy that players connect with, that they like him a lot. He brings an energy wherever he goes to programs. Like, he is just a guy, he's a player's coach, I
Mm-hmm.
really. And so maybe that is exactly what they need in their manager right now. Maybe that's what their players are going and saying, yeah, we could get behind this because who he is as a person. Not to mention, I mean, he's a great coach as well. I mean, not, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'll say this. I mean, he is a great coach, and I know Arkansas fans, you can feel however you want about him, okay? But he's good at what he does. So
Yep.
could end up being such a good move for him. I'll also say this: it softens the blow, when he eventually comes to Arkansas and eventually retires here. Now Arkansas can say they got a manager from the MLB, right? I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
that
that's a possibility. Yeah.
I still think it's going to happen. I still think it's going to
Okay.
happen. So that's my opinion. You can say whatever you want. That's my opinion. There are people I've talked to who cover um, the MLB, and they've said the same thing. They're like, well, this makes sense to us that if he
Mm-hmm.
still wanted to go to Arkansas, it's way better jumping from the Giants to Arkansas than it is to go to Tennessee to Arkansas and tick off everybody. So I'm just saying it works
Yeah.
out, right?
Well, it's just kind of it's surprising on two facts for me. One, they paid a $3 million buyout to get him, which I've never heard of a pro team paying a buyout to a college to poach their coach. And two, when the story broke this weekend and nothing happened, and then nothing happened again Monday, you thought, well, not going to happen. But then the deal does go through. So that was a little surprising, I thought.
I think for me it wasn't because what we
Okay.
know, behind the scenes, right?
Mm-hmm.
When something like that comes out, and you can deny it, all those things, but that doesn't just come out from those sources and from those people if
Yeah.
they don't have really good people backing that up. So I knew it was real, and I
Yeah.
kind of thought at that point when it came out and we didn't hear anything, well, they're just getting a deal done with him. They're not releasing anything because they're working on a deal now. If they want him, I guarantee you he said yes. And he did, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad Tony, did the smart thing there. Good job. Because I would have been saying the opposite if they had come a calling and he was like, you know what? Nah, I'd rather stay at Tennessee. I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
You're crazy. And I know Tennessee fans were living in La La Land thinking, you know what? San Francisco isn't a great place to be, yada, yada, yada. They wanted to say X, Y, and Z. I'm like, guys,
It's the
come
major leagues.
on.
Yeah.
It's the show. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't turn this down. You don't do that. So
Yeah.
I say good for him. I'm excited to see what he does because I hope he has success. I really do.
Well, I think he will, and it's going to bring some spark to the Dodger Giants rivalry that
Oh
it hasn't had in a
yes.
while. Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
he's feisty. He's
he
feisty, so
is.
he's gonna reignite it.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, I mean he's one of those guys, and Tennessee's going to have a hard time replacing him because he is such a force of personality.
Yeah.
That's
I
hard
I
to
don't know.
replace.
I honestly, hands up, I have no idea who they're gonna get. Like, I
Yeah,
have no idea who they are gonna get that's gonna be it's gonna half fill his shoes. Let's just say
yeah.
that. I mean,
Well, it's going to have to
yeah.
be an interim. I mean, at this late stage, I mean, you've just
Mhm.
finished fall ball. Yeah, I can't imagine
I
anybody's going to leave. So it's going to
I
just
I
have
mean,
to be wait and see, right?
who knows? I mean, who knows what they have? I mean, this again, I I'm kind of like, wow, Tennessee. I don't know what I would do in this case because you might have to go the interim route, or there may be someone that you can go out and get.
Hmm.
It just depends. It depends on every scenario, but
Yeah,
I just don't think you're gonna, if you go out and get somebody, is it gonna be the caliber of person that the fans want? I don't know.
yeah.
So
That's it's going to be yeah. It's going to be tough. It's going to be something we're definitely going to keep an eye on. All right, something I know you've got your eye on. Florida made the move over the weekend with Billy Napier. I would imagine you were probably not surprised by that.
nope.
But is Kiffin gonna be the guy?
I don't think so. I really don't. I think Florida fans might be in La La Land. I'm sorry. Sorry to all the Gators out there that might be watching this. I really don't think so. I think he's using this. We've heard behind the scenes he's going to get a contract extension. Why would he not?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, so I feel like this is a great way to kind of say, hey, Ole Miss, they think I'm going to be the coach at Florida. This is how much I want. Can you do it? Can you make this happen? So I really think he's going to stay at Ole Miss. Knowing Lane, I mean, Lane could do whatever he wants. He's Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
He could say one thing and do another thing. I go back to the documentary that came out, where his daughter was just like, we love Ole Miss. We just love being here. I mean, at the end of the day, he does have a soft spot, right? And he
Mm-hmm.
does love his family. And so I think, again, and I'm not in those conversations, I'm not privy to those conversations, but I just think at the end of the day, he's going to go, you know what? I'm going to stick around Ole Miss for a little bit. And maybe there's an opportunity to go somewhere else when that happens. I mean, who knows? I mean, the LSU job could open, and maybe that's the place he wants to be. So, I don't think he's gonna go to Florida. I know that Florida is gonna do their due diligence in trying. Why not,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If the fan base wants him, Steve Spurrier's talking about him. You've got former Florida QBs talking about him, and former Florida players going, go out and get Lane. I mean, Scott Strickland's going to do his best, but I don't think it's going to happen at the end of the day. And so, where does that leave you? And who does that mean you go out after and get? Because the fan base right now is all going Lane Kiffin, Lane Kiffin, Lane Kiffin, or bust. And so, that's a little bit of a scary place to be, I think, if you're a Florida fan, because there is a high chance this deal could not work out.
Yes, and with that in mind, is Strickland on the hot seat because he's
Yes.
the one that fired Napier. He hired
Yes.
Napier. That didn't work. I mean, is this
Strickland's
the?
been on the hot seat. Strickland's
Yeah.
been on the hot seat for a while. And I'll say this right here, right now. Strickland has been on the hot seat. I get he hired Todd Golden. Great. That worked
Hmm.
out great for him. But at the end of the day, he's had some black spots on his career at Florida. I go back to the women's basketball coach that was doing things that weren't great and got fired. I go back to
Hmm.
the soccer coach that again these are hires that he's made that have had issues. And so for me, I'm going, I mean, I know Florida fans, there's a lot of them who are really, really kind of fed up with him. Kind of
Hmm.
really just in this point of like, let's go get a new AD. And there were so many that were upset that he was going to make the hire. You might have noticed he was asked in the press conference, are you going to be the person leading this coaching search? And he was like, yes. And a lot of the fans were going, oh no,
Mm.
that's not good. That's why they were kind of worried. If Napier got fired, they were kind of worried. They were like, well, it means that Scott Strickland's going to be in charge of finding the next head coach. And I don't, I know that doesn't inspire a lot of confidence among the fan base.
Yeah, I think, well, that brings us into our next topic with the coaching searches. As we've seen, not a lot of ADs get an opportunity to hire multiple coaches. And we're seeing the AD coach dynamic becoming more in play because we've seen all the Florida State said we're going to wait till the end of the season. Wisconsin, I don't know exactly what he was saying other than we need money. And then Hugh Freeze puts Cohen on the spot and says, "Well, yeah, I'd love to have a vote of confidence." I mean, it's those relationships are becoming very, very important. How do you
Mhm.
think that's going to affect coaching changes? Because as we all know, ADs and coaches don't always get along, and it comes out even more when teams aren't winning.
I'll be honest, I don't know if Scott Strickland and Lane Kiffin would get along, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that's a weird dynamic to me. And so I just again, that is something that you have to look at and fans have to look at, who your AD is will affect who you get. Right? Because there are certain people that you're gonna look at and go, wow, wouldn't it be great if we got him? Well, he may not come to your program if he doesn't like your AD. He may not come if he goes, I don't see a good fit there with that AD. It also goes into the larger conversation of, do I like the AD? And how is that AD going to set me up financially? Financially when it comes to NIL, when it comes to rev share, when it comes to all of the financials that take place now in college athletics, it's not just about, hey, they're going to pay me a great salary. Like for me, if I'm a coach, I honestly, if you can give me a great salary, that's great. But more important to me than salary is how am I set up financially? Because if I'm not given the resources to succeed, I'm not going to succeed and then I'm going to be fired. So people talk about these big buyouts in college football, right? These huge massive
Hmm.
buyouts. Well, you know what? I understand you have to have those buyouts in place if you're on the coaching side of things because you have to make sure that if they're not going to invest in you, you've got to invest in yourself. You've got to give yourself a way out. If I go to a program and they're not financially set up, I am going to throw in a buyout clause that's big because I'm going to go, I need to make sure that if I lose because I don't have the resources, then I'm okay. So I understand it.
Well, that totally makes sense. And then, like you were saying, Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss seems like one of the few schools that's really grasped rev share and NIL. So is it worth him leaving that for maybe $2 million more in salary in Florida where they've had trouble with NIL
Yeah.
and rev share and figuring it out. It's like it's the coaching salary used to be the hook. I don't know if it's the hook anymore, is it?
I don't think it is. I think it's resources. You can win if you are given resources. If you are not given resources, I don't care if you're the best coach in the world. I mean, I've said this argument to a lot of people, and I think, I can't remember which coach it was, but they were on ESPN the other day talking about the same argument that I've had for a while. My dad's been a D2 coach for a very long time, and he's always said to me, he's like, Courtney, there are some D2 coaches that are the most fabulous coaches you will meet anywhere, but they just haven't been given that opportunity to break into the D1 world. They haven't been given that opportunity to showcase that talent. And so, again, because they're not a flashy hire, because they're
Mm-hmm.
not this. And there are some D2 coaches that may not have the best record where you're like, oh, that's not even that impressive, but they don't have any resources. So they're doing that. They're still winning at that level without the resources. So to me, I'm not about the flashy hire. I get it. Lane Kiffin's a good coach. If you want to get him, get him. But it's not all about the flashy hire. Sometimes it's about picking that guy that you're like, man, he can do more with less. And for Arkansas, Florida, that's something that I would be looking at and going, woo, we could get a really good coach here and nobody want him. But
Yeah.
if the fan base can get behind that, if the boosters can get behind that, then he'll have success. But the problem is they won't unless it's flashy. So you're in this whole cycle of,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, you just can't win. You can't win. So
Well,
it's maddening.
yeah. Well, it's like, do you want to win games or do you want to win the press conference?
Yeah,
I
but if
mean,
you win the
you
press
can't usually don't
conference
win
and
both. Yeah.
right. Yeah, but if you win the press conference, you're probably getting money in your pocket, right? You're probably getting boosters to give, and you're probably getting the fan base re-energized and ready to give their money. Whereas if you hire someone who's not as well known but has an amazing record and has done amazing things at maybe the D2 level, right? Whatever. I'm not saying that would happen, but
Yeah.
if it did, you wouldn't have people giving. And so that's what they need to succeed. Money, 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 money. You need it to succeed.
Yeah. And the coach that keeps popping in my mind when you say that, all that, Signetti. And look where he's at
Yeah.
now. I
Yeah.
mean, year two in Indiana, he's going to make 11 mil a year because he wins.
And he
Yeah.
should. I'm glad he's getting his payday because that is a coach that deserves it. But you're exactly right. Sometimes it's just about making a move that you kind of go, okay, this may not excite everybody, but we feel really confident about what this guy can do. I'm not saying that will happen. Don't come for me,
Yeah.
Arkansas fans, about that. No. They
Yeah.
they they want someone with head coaching experience. They want someone that you're going to recognize. They want someone that's going to go, "Hey, we're in a bad financial decision. This hire is going to put us in a good one." Right? So,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. Just want to clarify that for everybody out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, let's talk about the Arkansas job. It would seem that well, it didn't take, but oh, you gotta love it when graphics go wild. That's never happened to you, I'm sure, right?
Oh, never, never in my life, Sometimes they say random things too, and you're like, I did not type that.
Yes.
So,
So anyway, so we'll get to the Arkansas job, and with that, Bobby Petrino, the interim, obviously he's got a huge advantage over everybody. Is it going to play out? Is he going to get that job as a result, do you think?
I actually don't think he has a huge advantage over everybody else. I think he has a harder hill to climb for the job
Okay.
because think about it this way. Think about it this way, right?
Okay.
He's not just going to be automatically given the job because he's the interim.
Mm-hmm.
He's not getting a leg up over everybody else. He has to prove himself right now if he wants that job. And so he's not just going to get given it. Other coaches, right? They don't
Mm-hmm.
have as much pressure on them because they're on the outside looking in. He's the guy in the room with them. There's a lot of pressure on that. So I think it might be harder. It's a little harder for him. I'm going to say that because you have so many people that are going, "Okay, show me why you should get the job. Show me why." You know? And then also his history here. I know we don't like bringing that up, but the way it
Yeah.
ended, that's also going against him a little bit, right? And so now it's even like, what are you gonna do? Show me why you should be. Well, show me why we should give you another opportunity, right? And so with Bobby, yes, he obviously is in the mix. I've heard from a lot of people that they're going to do their due diligence and look other places first. And they may find their coach in another place before Bobby even really does get a fair shake, and all of
Hmm.
those things. But with Bobby, I think it's an interesting conversation because we're here still two games in to him being the interim head football coach, and he hasn't won. Now he's gotten close, both losses by 3 points, both one possession games, right? Both
Yeah.
one possession losses. We talk about Pittman's one score, losses. Well, Bobby's in the same boat right now. Now, I love how the team's playing under him. I love watching. I feel like, man, I enjoy watching this team play under Bobby. I really do. And I feel like there's a lot of fans out there that could agree with that because they could be really annoyed right now being 0-2 under him, but they're kind of feeling passionate about it. And so that to me shows that, hey, he's doing really well with winning the team over, winning the fans over, but he's still got to win. It's one thing, like you said, to win the press conference. It's another thing to go out there and say, hey, we have won a couple of ball games, right? You can't just get one win. Like, let's say they beat Auburn this week. Yay, they beat Auburn. And then they lose the rest of the games. I don't think that's going to inspire a lot of confidence in people. I don't also think that's going to inspire a lot of confidence in potential recruits. So he has to win. I really do believe that he has to win. And I think he's got to win a couple of these games. I think he's got to beat Auburn. I think he's got to beat Mississippi State. I'd like to see him beat Texas or Missouri. I'd like to see that happen. If that happens, I think he's seriously, they're going to hone in and go, okay, tell us what, let's really, really look at you, really fully as an option versus kind of, okay, we're going to look elsewhere. Their full attention will be on him. But it all starts with winning. It all starts with winning. And I know there's people that want to support him and give their backing to him. I know there's other boosters. Oops, sorry, as my phone falls. I know
It's
there
all
are
right.
other boosters that want to back other people too.
Hmm.
I know there are boosters that are like, let's look elsewhere. And there are boosters that say, no, 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 we have a good candidate in Bobby Petrino. For me, as Courtney Mims, I will say this, I've got to see some wins. I like how the team's playing, got to see some wins.
Yeah. Well, and also the dynamic of trying to get the boosters all on the same page to unify the money. I think that is one aspect of an Arkansas coaching search that people don't see that goes on behind the scenes because you have warring factions. And the closer
Mhm.
this gets to decision time, if if Petrino doesn't separate himself from the field, man, there's no telling where this search could go.
Yeah. I mean, and I seriously do think, obviously, I think he is still in the conversation because of how they've played the last two games and how they've played under him and how he's talking in press conferences, and all of that is keeping him in the running, right? Instead of them
Hmm.
just going, we're going to look elsewhere. However, I do believe there are other candidates right now that the money is going to maybe, help back a little bit. And hey, does that mean it's going to be a bad thing for Bobby? No, I don't think so. I just think for him right now, the best thing he can do, win some games, man. Win some games, show the administration you're the guy for the job.
Well, in Saturday, a perfect example, Auburn, Arkansas, the losing coach in this game is probably not going to be in that position next year.
Yeah.
When you look at
Yeah.
it, I
Isn't that
mean,
crazy to think about?
it's insane. It's a loser leave town wrestling match. Nuts.
And and I hope for Bobby's sake that he's on the winning side. I hope for his sake that he's on the winning side. So I mean, you got to show Vegas when they open that line at what Auburn is a 1.5 point favorite
Oh,
in
Arkansas's
Razorback
a one.